preparing. Okay, I think we're live. I think it's happening. Hopefully my sound is still pretty clear. Um, yeah, can you hear me all right?
I perfectly can.
Okay, awesome. Well, hopefully my colleague who's listening in will tell me if we can't hear me. Hello, welcome everyone who's joining us. My name is Shaunessy Jones. I am the Director of Development at StolenYouth, and this is our fourth and final Facebook Live with our partners who access the Ginny Fund. And we're here to talk more about StolenYouth's Ginny Fund and the impact that it has on the lives of survivors from exploitation and sex trafficking. And I have a very special guest with me today that we'll introduce in a second. Before we dive in, I just want to acknowledge that we are on the traditional land of the first people of Seattle, the Duwamish people, past, present, and honor with gratitude the land itself and the Duwamish tribe. Just take a second to really feel that. So grateful.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Jacquelynn, why don't you introduce yourselves?
Well, thank you so much for having me today. I'm excited to be here and just be able to educate more on how the Ginny Fund is helping. But my name is Jacquelynn Loos. I am the Community Advocate Supervisor here at REST. My pronouns are she, her. I also consider myself to be an artist, an entrepreneur. I also am a mother. So that's just a quick bit about me.
I love that you're giving the full picture because we often just sort of put ourselves in a little box, right? I'm the director of development. That's all I am. Whereas there's more to me, right? So thank you for sharing that. I've had the honor and joy of meeting one of your kids virtually when we've had other meetings. So it's always really adorable. That's one of the positives of working from home is that you get to kind of have a glimpse into people's actual lives and meet their children and their pets and kind of see what their decorating style is and all of that, right? So
authentic me all in different forms, which I think is fun. It's really like that relationship-based piece.
I agree. Yeah. So today we're going to talk about the Ginny Fund. And just for people who haven't been watching social media and our page for the last month, I've really been heavy-handed talking about this awesome program that we have, which directly impacts the lives of survivors. I like to think about this as sort of a barrier removal program or sort of a safety net for survivors, a financial safety net that when you kind of get to a place where you need a little bit of help to keep moving forward in your life, you can access the Ginny Fund and kind of get that support you need to move to the next phase of your life as you're kind of rebuilding your life. Is that how you'd say you've experienced
Oh my gosh,
it?
it's so much more than just the safety net. I think it allows you to dare to dream of what else could be, not just your basic needs, but also how can I support you to thrive, not just survive. And so I definitely have seen that impact many clients and just have loved to see the journey.
Wow. Okay, well, we'll dive into some of those stories. Why don't you start by telling everyone a little bit about what is REST, what's it stand for, and what y'all do?
Yeah, so REST is a nonprofit in the Seattle area. The acronym is for Real Escape from the Sex Trade. And so we provide pathways to freedom, safety, and hope through different programs. We have a continuum of care, and I would love to go into that, but really want to talk more about the Ginny Fund. So I know that we'll get the link to iwantrest.com into the chat. But yeah, we just offer those access to services and bridging the gap.
Yeah, I actually hadn't heard of REST, even though all my time working at Treehouse, I think you're right near
Just down
that
the
building.
street.
I
Yeah.
know. And I went to some trainings from REST. I mean, just a valuable resource, so much awesome programming there. So definitely check out the link in the chat that Kaylee's probably dropping in there so people can pop over and see how you can get involved if you want to volunteer, or just go to one of you have really great trainings if you're trying to understand the whole, it's a lot as someone new to trafficking in 6 months in, like how do you dive in and understand the landscape, right? So you guys do a great job with that.
Yeah, appreciate
And
it.
I'm really excited to have you talk a little bit more about what your work and the work of the advocates you're supervising, because they're often the ones that are submitting the applications for the Ginny Fund, right? So can you tell us a little bit about how you've seen the fund support survivors?
Oh my goodness. I mean, it's all over the board. I think one of the things that I love is it directly supports survivors and their goals. And so one of the things that really aligns with the values we have is self-identified goals. What are the things that you need in order to be successful in the things that you want, not what I want for you? And so the Ginny Fund is really open to like, what is it you want? Do you need help financially in supporting with rent or a utility bill? Or we've had situations where we've had clients think of creative ideas and solutions for housing and being able to put towards a van purchase, right? Or entrepreneurs who need help with their business license. All of these pieces cost money. And, you know, like I said, it's not just feeding basic needs, it's now feeding other needs of like, how do I thrive? How do I continue to move forward in my journey and what I feel is going to be supportive of me? So really, like I said, individualize and hones in on their strengths, right? So very strength-based. We want to know that like we see these strengths in you, you are resilient, you have all of these beautiful qualities. How do we help you and guide you in the direction of accessing? And so the Ginny Fund is an access point, right? It is an opportunity for us to even give this narrative of behind of like, this is where they're at, this is where they want to go, and this is how it will help in supporting that goal. And so I love it. It's always been a pleasure. Rarely do we get questions back. So it's really like less invasive. It really just gives an opportunity to say, I think like this would be helpful in this way. And then we usually get that, okay, where do we need to send the check? How do we do this? Let's coordinate. And so I think the coordination has been beautiful too. It's flawless. Yeah, I think,
Well, then we'll shout out to Deb, who
yes.
runs is the Ginny Fund grant manager. She's awesome. She cares
Amazing.
so much about the fund and the survivors that it supports and all the work you're all doing. And I love that something you told me when we chatted prior to this was that this is like a lot of the times when there's other places you can get support. There's so much strict criteria and it's very specific for you to receive funding. And you were saying Ginny Fund is just open and supportive of whatever that dream or goal is for that survivor.
Yeah. I definitely would say like a lot of direct client assistance funds out there, you know, they come with grants and they have these requirements and it has to fit within this box. But we need to remember that the more that we expand on what that box looks like, we're able to serve people as individuals, not just a one size fits all. And I think that's something to really consider. And so I really love that the Ginny Fund has kind of taken that like, oh yeah, who are we to tell them that they just need their basic needs? You know, different parts of your journey really need to be supported. And I think that's what this is like, you could be at your beginning, you could be at your middle, you could be at your end, you could be in the midst. Like it just is this opportunity for us to support you where you're at.
Yeah. I love that too. When I never heard of it when I came to Stolen Youth, and I was like, why aren't we talking about this every day? I think it's so accessible too for the community that wants to feel like I want to make a difference in the life of a survivor. I want to help lift them up and, you know, help them move forward in the life they dream of. And how do I do that? Well, there's lots of great organizations directly working with survivors, and also the Ginny Fund is there to access, and all those coalition partners are accessing it for their clients. So that is one way that you can support survivors in the community. Do you have any like particular stories? Because how long have you been doing this work? And tell us.
I've been at rest for 5 years. And so, yeah, I mean, I have collaborations of lots of different stories. And I think, you know, one was, I think you guys also might have highlighted this one was we had an individual youth that was in harm's way and needed to move more immediately, but was moving from a house full of full of stuff that it was going to take a little while. And so you all helped with the movers, and that, and just in that sense alone, you lifted so much weight off of that family. Like, how are we going to do this in a fast, timely manner? What does that look like? How am I going to afford that? And you took that burden off of them of like, okay, this is one less thing I have to worry about, right?
Mhm.
And I think, like, even thinking about myself, I am a survivor as well. I have applied for the Ginny Fund. I have been able to move towards my entrepreneurship because the Ginny Fund has said, okay, we see you in your part of your journey and what you need help with. And, you know, like, this is a highlight that, like I said, every part of the journey of, especially me being a survivor, I'm 7 years out. It's this opportunity for me to still be supported in my goals and my dreams outside of just doing this work too. So I think that, you know, like, those, it's just beautiful to continue to watch what we're supporting with, you know, like, where it's right now, we have a lot of people needing rental support, and we're about to go through the biggest crisis we've gone through in
Mhm.
many, many years. And we already have a housing crisis. And so homelessness is going to spike. And that's why we need people to come in and say, hey, these are things that basic needs. People should be able to stay in their homes, because homes mean stability. And being able to offer that gives them access to other points, right? So
I'm
those
really
are,
glad you brought that up because we are, looking down on this looming end to the eviction moratorium. They may push it back again, but it's supposed to end at the end of June here, and we're already seeing an increase in requests for rent assistance. Rent is astronomical in the city of Seattle, and if you're working a minimum wage job, you'd have to work multiple jobs to be able to afford it. I
yep.
also see, that they have that criteria around, do you earn 3 times the rent, which is like an impossible standard for a lot of people that live in this community. I mean, I struggle to meet that need as well, and so the Ginny Fund's going to be there to support survivors who are maybe lost income from cut or losing jobs, right? And if they have that, they owe back rent, they're going to have to pay it or face eviction. And we don't want anyone to have to be on the street. We already have too many people living houseless. And I love what you said about the fact that, that's a safe place and they deserve to have that safety net. I think more than ever in this past year, we realized the value of home, right? And being able to have a safe place to be, it's so important. Yeah.
Definitely
Um,
agree. I think you also bring up a good point of, like, you know, not just lost jobs too, right? This idea of lost child's care, lost access. Like, also, I know for a lot of our undocumented folks, finding housing is extremely hard. And so I just want to highlight that too, is like, that this fund has been really accessible for our undocumented folks too, right? Who have less access to funds out there because there are more restrictions. You do have to be, you have to qualify in these ways. And so I think that is just something I wanted to highlight as well. Were a couple different aspects.
yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up as well because we get so many different applications. Everyone's at a different phase of their life and different barriers that they're facing, whether it's getting their record expunged or being able to, get their driver's license back, to be able to like get their business license, like you were saying earlier. We've seen like, I want to be a massage therapist, I want to be a yoga teacher, I want to have my own counseling business, like loving that so many survivors want to give back in this holistic, lovely way to the community that supported them. I think that speaks volumes to the work that you're all doing, that they want to get involved and do that kind of work, right? And you also were saying that there's a good deal of the survivors you're working with were trafficked at an early age, even if they are older now. Is that the case?
100%. Yeah, I think everybody's entry point is different, and different ages. But yeah, I think, like, we go through, you have familial trafficking that starts very early. There are child pornography rings. There's, cult aspects. There's aspects of Goodness, yes. The basic answer is yes. Entry point is all different ages, and yeah, I think like that's something that we notice and understand, because it does make up a person and their experiences and how to identify their barriers and their intersections and how to serve them as a person and as an individual based off of their experiences, and not like I said, that one size fits all.
Right. Yeah. It's very individualized. And you were also telling me something about like how even the further out you are from the life, the less access points you have for support. It was what you were telling me. And I think that's what you said. Am I saying it correctly?
Yeah, I think sometimes you can definitely see that, especially just thinking about Stolen Youth is very youth centric and based, and which is great. And we have a lot of individuals that support the youth, and I think that is so important. But there are also individuals that are being trafficked in their older ages. We range from young, very young children to all the way up there 60s, 70s, still needing support, because especially when you have experienced trauma, something can trigger you back into a sense of like you're triggered, you're then spiraling down, you might hit a rock bottom again, or the journey is a constant. It is a journey that never ends. And just because, say, like for me, someone that's been 7-8 years out of the life doesn't mean that I don't have less problems. And even though I work in a space that I serve individuals doesn't mean I don't need to be served, that I have less access points because I'm a service provider or because I'm further out. Like those type of things is like the thinking that I want us to all come out of like, we need to be served at every part of our journey. And what does that look like? It's going to look like different for everybody. But I think, yeah, that support is needed for sure.
You're a fountain of wisdom, Jacquelynn. You know so much, and I've been so grateful to like hear you speak and other survivors who are doing the work too, because it's just an insight that is really valuable. So I appreciate you coming here and sharing. Is there anything you want us to know about the trafficking climate here in town, or any trends you're seeing right now besides the rent stuff that you'd want people to know?
Yeah, I think just we're in a very weird time, and just because everybody's trying to access resources now. It's not just one population, but it's just remembering like, how are we able to show up? And sometimes that's not in the monetary value. It's the way that we volunteer, the way that maybe sometimes you give meals, or you do whatever that looks like. You rally around your friends to say that this is an issue, we need to be educated on it. Stand up and stand out, right? Like, how can you get involved is the way, like, you can educate yourself, you can go to trainings, you can make meals, like those are the ways that you can support our agencies. There's not a lot of specific agencies in Seattle, let alone Washington, that serves CSEC and CSE individuals, which is commercially sexually exploited children or exploited individuals. And so, yeah, the way that you show up is just supporting, and also helping with capacity building. We are at a place where we're seeing trends of people need more help, and so they're reaching out, and we don't have the capacity to help everyone, which is really hard, because that means we have to turn people away. And who am I to turn away the next person that wants an access point? And that makes me sad, but it also makes us know that we need more support. We need more community support. We need more community action. And so that's what I'm hoping I can leave with everybody, is like, it's not just the Ginny Fund, it's all of these aspects. The Ginny Fund is a huge part, and I think if you can, please donate, because that has been incredible access to direct client assistance funds.
Yeah, and people might want to give time or talent or treasure, whatever it is they want to give. It's all valuable. And there's like, you can check out REST. You have volunteer opportunities. There's
Always.
ways to donate. And then if you are feeling moved and inspired by what the Ginny Fund is doing for survivors in the community, you can go to StolenYouth.org/donate, or probably click a link in the chat. and make a donation. I'm a monthly donor of the Ginny Fund because I just feel like that it's a little bit can go a long way.
Yep.
We're not talking about thousands and thousands of dollars per survivor. Sometimes it's as little as $50 or $500 that is, the barrier between them moving on and them being stuck. And we do want to see them thriving, and happy, and in their joy, in their future. So thank you so much for the incredible work that you do, Jacquelynn, and for being here today. And thank you all for listening to our Facebook Live. It's been really fun. We'll see you next time. Okay.
For
All right.
having me.
All right.